Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears to some of the travails and trepidations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And this particular topic today is about a Kansas City prosecutor who framed an innocent man, surrenders her law license, and will soon be disbarred. So let's get into it. Terra Morehead, who retired as a federal prosecutor last August, has agreed to turn over her law license as part of an agreement with a Kansas City disciplinary board. As a Wyandotte County prosecutor in the 1990s, Morehead helped KCKPD Detective Roger Golubski frame an innocent man who spent 23 years in prison. Terra Morehead, a longtime county and federal prosecutor who helped police frame at least one innocent man, has agreed to surrender her law license and faces disbarment. For those who follow me, I did a video yesterday on this Detective Roger Golubski, who has now been indicted for several crimes, alleged crimes that took place over his 35-year career that included sex trafficking and his involvement with protecting a drug kingpin. And Ms. Morehead was the prosecuting attorney that helped protect Detective Roger Golubski from a lot of his indiscretions that he did as a law enforcement individual, a police officer and detective. So back to the story. So Morehead is tied to Roger Golubski, that's on my previous interview. Morehead, who became notorious, Attorney Morehead, who became notorious for skirting legal protections for defendants, agreed to surrender her license as part of an agreement with the Kansas Board for Discipline of Attorneys. She is awaiting disbarment from the Kansas Supreme Court, according to court filings. The documents also show that Morehead, who retired from the U.S. Attorney's Office in Kansas last August, was the subject of a federal investigation by the U.S. Department of Justice. The result of that probe is unknown. Attorney Morehead's conduct came under scrutiny during the exoneration of Lamont McIntyre, who was convicted in 1994 of a double homicide when he was 17 years old. McIntyre was freed in 2017 after Wyandotte County District Attorney Mark Dupree said his conviction was a manifest injustice, and a judge dropped the case. McIntyre sued and was awarded $12.5 million in 2022 by the United Government of Kansas City, Kansas, and Wyandotte County for the wrongful conviction. Acting on a case built by disgraced former Kansas City, Kansas police detective Roger Golubski, Morehead presented no physical evidence tying McIntyre to the murders. She relied upon the testimony of one witness, Nico Quinn, who later recanted. Quinn said Morehead threatened to throw her in jail and take her children if she didn't lie about what she saw the day of the double homicide. Morehead also failed to disclose that she had a past romantic relationship with the judge on the case. That is a conflict of interest. Quinn, who was reached on Tuesday, said she is glad authorities are finally starting to clean up problems in the criminal justice system. Quinn and four of the black women have filed a federal civil rights lawsuit against the United Government, alleging that officials permitted an open and notorious police protection racket to victimize the black community and black women in particular. Attorney Morehead's actions may be added to the federal lawsuit, Quinn said. She said Attorney Morehead's career had profited from her suffering. This is the beginning of my dreams, Quinn said, because I want her dreams. Morehead's attorney did not return an email seeking comment on Tuesday. Detective Golubski faces a federal trial this fall on charges that he violated the civil rights of several black women, including underage black female teens, in a separate case. Protected a KCK drug dealer who was running a Essex trafficking operation of underage girls. He is currently on home arrest and was recently chided by a federal magistrate for violating his arrest conditions by going to a fast food place. So Officer Gillespie is on home arrest, and he has certain conditions for moving around, and he decided to go to a fast food place with a female person without giving notification to the courts. After her tenure in the Wyandotte County DA's office, Morehead moved to the U.S. Attorney's Office in Kansas, where she became embroiled in another alleged ethical breach and was removed from criminal cases in 2021. Morehead was criticized in a U.S. Department of Justice investigation after a federal judge in 2017 tossed a defendant's conviction on drug charges. In a rare public admonishment, U.S. District Judge Julie Robinson ruled that Attorney Morehead had interfered with a defendant's Sixth Amendment right to a fair trial and found that Morehead had substantially interfered with a defense witness's decision to testify in the case. A March 20 filing of this year with the Kansas Supreme Court, signed by Alice Walker, Deputy Disciplinary Administrator for the Kansas Board for Discipline of Attorneys, asked the court to forego an April pre-hearing and a May formal hearing because Morehead had agreed to surrender her license to practice law. The disciplinary board recommended that the court approve the request for her to be disbarred and is now expected to issue a formal disbarment, which is standard practice under Kansas Supreme Court rules when an attorney surrenders their law license. The state board also told the High Court that Attorney Morehead had been the subject of an investigation by the Office of Professional Responsibility for the U.S. Department of Justice, but doesn't say what they found. So this case, her particular disbarment is tied to Detective Roger Gillespie's case, in which he had a 30-year history of committing egregious and illegal acts on particularly poor black women and poor black teenagers. And he was having a business relationship providing protection and other alleged ancillary negative services for a suspected drug kingpin. Attorney Morehead was suppressing evidence, lying to the judge and the jury on this particular case and on several other cases, and she has gotten caught up in a web of lies when she is supposed to be in the highest order for representing the court in a positive, righteous, and corrective way. But she decided to go another route. She decided to bend the rules. She decided to, by any means necessary, threaten witnesses, allegedly, and to corroborate her story in order for her to win convictions. You hear these stories many times with prosecutors and judges. She even had an inappropriate relationship with a judge on one of these particular cases that she was prosecuting. That shows clear hypocrisy and clear biasness against the individual who was being charged with these particular crimes. It happens all the time. But thank God in Wyandotte County that they are sniffing out the bad seeds that are in our court system, in the police force, and in the attorney's office, the U.S. Attorney's Office. Both of these individuals, if any of these allegations are true, need to go. And the citizens of Wyandotte County need to know that they're protected and they're safe, and that things are going to be done in a positive and legal format.